Chris Brown, he joins me from Louisville Avenue. A train has derailed. People were evacuated. Chris, what can you tell us so far? How do things stand at this hour?
Yeah, Jennifer, good evening to you. It has been a bit of a wild day here on Louisville Avenue. You know, the wild thing about being here right now is that it's 6 o'clock, and any other day there would be cars packed on Louisville Avenue, but not this afternoon, as it is shut down in both directions because of a train derailment. Like you said, 5 cars of a train derailed going off Louisville Ave just up the street from Hicks and BMW right here. 5 of those cars derailed. They were carrying hazardous chemicals. Alan, if you could just zoom in and show people what we're seeing here. You see some emergency responders out here. It was a little bit busier out here earlier today. The good news here is that nobody was hurt. None of those hazardous chemicals inside are spilling, but the road is still closed for folks who are trying to get through this area. Police telling us tonight to seek alternate routes. They're going to bring in a team from Jackson, Mississippi to try to get the train back on the tracks and get it off of Louisville Avenue. But for the time being, it's there, and this road is closed. It could be closed into the wee hours of the morning. 1 o'clock in the morning is what they're projecting right now, but it could even go into the morning rush hour. They just don't know at this point in time, but it is going to be a long day here. You're looking at video from earlier in the day where you can see sort of just how hectic the scene was after this happened this afternoon. So what we know from police right now is what we don't know, and that is why this happened in the first place. But police telling us tonight there's no imminent public safety concern, even though businesses around this area were evacuated earlier today. We talked with Reggie Brown from Monroe Police, and we also talked with some employees who were trying to get back to work. Here's a little of what they had to say.
Department of Transportation that is on their way out here. Also, the state hazmat team is on their way to be able to further evaluate the scene. Right now, there's appears to be no threat to the public at this time of any hazardous materials leaking and things of that nature.
I saw it somewhat, but what went through my mind, I'm like, what could have caused it if everybody's okay?
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, yeah, that concerns me.
So you get an idea, folks, just a little nervous about what's going on out here. We've been having team coverage, of course, all afternoon. I'm joined now by Shelley Silvestri. And Shelley, as you know from growing up here, Louisville, of course, a main thoroughfare in town. This is creating a headache for a lot of drivers tonight.
Definitely, Chris. And you know, my advice is being from here my whole life, Louisville Avenue is a main stretch here. Yeah. And I would just advise everyone, if you're coming this way, we're right here near Hicks and BMW and Daniel Appliance, to just turn around, find a different way to go. If you're heading home from work, you might have to take the long way home tonight. Clearly, this is an issue being that it's prime time. This is rush hour traffic time. People are heading home from work. But many streets in this area, apart from Louisville, are being blocked off as well. Monroe PD just blocked off a few side streets here, and they are begging people to please not drive through the barricades here. This is a public safety concern. These barricades are set up for a reason. They don't want people too close to this train. So while obviously traffic is a concern, we spoke to people who were stopped by this train, and here's what they had to say.
Well, we knew something had happened because we were coming this way to come to the doctor. Mm-hmm. We couldn't get through, so.
It'll be bad for Monroe, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. I may go home the long way.
Was that load in that shot?
Yeah, a wild situation out here all afternoon, Jennifer, and as you can imagine, folks ready for this to be cleared up. Monroe Police certainly ready for that too, but time is sort of not on their side right now, as we are all just waiting for that truck to get here to get the trains back on the tracks.
Yeah, as you said, Chris, it's going to be a long night out there. Hey, can you talk just a little bit about what exactly was the train hauling at the time? We call it hazardous material, but do we know what it was?
So the train was hauling nitropropane, which is a solvent, essentially. It's a flammable liquid that's used in different kinds of paints and inks and things. So the concern is that it's a flammable liquid. It is hazardous to you if you inhale that liquid as well. So that was sort of the concern. The good news here, though, Jennifer, is that there hasn't been any spill or leak of that at this point. And the train cars are actually upright. You could probably see that earlier. There is some concern trying to get them back on the tracks. They could tip over. That's always a concern when you're dealing with hazardous chemicals like nitropropane. But certainly, Jennifer, the good news here is that it hasn't spilled at this point.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Chris and Shelley.